There we go. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Field Talk, episode 40. It is a special episode. We are at 40. Woo. And
Hey.
as you can see, neither Justin nor Mario are here, but I am joined by two very special guests and friends from Twitter. David at AET Shirts and Kieran's Tutorial Soccer. Gentlemen, welcome.
How you doing?
Thanks for having us, Sal.
No problem at all. No, I'll start with David. How'd you get into football? Earliest memories?
You're asking me to think back far too long, so definitely. So my first memories are definitely probably when I was about 5 or 6. I was very, very bad at football. I just used to tackle anything, knee high. I was, so bad, but it was actually really weird how it all came about because I got a nickname off the back of it, and because I was called a hacker, and which came full circle that for being so bad, I actually got to the point and level that I was playing for. I think it was like Aberdeen, Rangers, had Scotland tryouts as well, so I was actually pretty decent. But yeah, my first memories were kicking the ball about down the park with my pals. It was definitely, every day, just down the park. Someone brought a ball, someone brought gloves, and we just kicked it about every single night, every sort of level. It was brilliant. And that went through all the way through until I was like 16, 17. And basically what happened was I was playing football 9 times a day. 9 times a week. And it was literally, a couple of training sessions, 3 games, whether it's for the county or for the school team or my team that I was involved in. It was just football daft from a very young age, which is, again, very strange because my mum and dad didn't like football. They didn't encourage it. I wasn't encouraged to get any football. And, yeah, just friends at school, and it just stuck ever since. So, my first memories were down the park, kicking the ball about, and it's never left me.
All right. Kieran?
So I did grow up in a mad football household. My dad was a big fan of football, and my mum could pass and follow it as well. So we were a big family who loved football. My earliest memory is something that will probably delight David, and it's something that any Englishman of my age will probably have the same wincing emotion when they hear it. But my earliest vivid football memory was the 1986 World Cup. So David knows what's going to come next, and so I'm sure you do too. There was this little man who, around the world, they've got a kind of love for him, and it doesn't extend to my house. He's still public enemy number 1. You know who I'm talking about, Diego Maradona. So that hand of God, or that little piece of cheating, was something that broke my heart, because up until the age of 7, and I was only 7 at that time, there was a feeling that everything was going to be all right in the end, as it is in Disney films. Okay, but this day, England didn't get to the World Cup semi-final. We went home early, and I think that early disappointment set me up for life, really. So I think that's my earliest memory of football, and it's something I think. Football gives you a slight addiction. You'll all know this. So all of those little defeats and those near misses mean that you sort of say, I'm sure that next time it's going to be better. Next time it's going to be better. Next time it's going to be this. All those little highs give you enough adrenaline to come back again. So I think, as David said, I haven't played to the same level as David has, and Sal, I know that you coach football as well. But my passion is in observing the game, in watching the game, and actually about writing about the game as well. That's where my passion comes from.
If only VAR had existed in that World Cup.
Yeah, I know. But the other thing is, I think England would have been about 3 men down by that stage as well. Looking back at that game, elbows were flying. There were people going in at knee high on him, and he was a special talent. Let's not get away from that. But I think that little bit of trickery that he did, maybe he deserved that in the end. And it's taken me a long time to be able to say that, but we've had a chance to watch that Diego Maradona documentary over the past couple of weeks, and he was unplayable when he was able to kind of get there. And the English team, the only way they could get near him that day was by pulling his shirt, elbowing him in the head, or kicking him.
So if he steps on English soil, is he still hated to this day, or?
It's strange. He should be hated to this day, but he gets let into grounds like Tottenham Hotspur and treated as if he's a hero. So I think a lot of people have got quite a forgiving nature. If he comes anywhere near my house, Sal, then he's in trouble. But I'm ready to let bygones be bygones if he is, because he's had me putting pins into a doll for a good 35 years now. So as long as he can forgive me, I'm prepared to offer that hand of friendship to Diego Maradona.
So if anyone can share this video with Mr. Diego Maradona one day down in Argentina, during one of his major Coke binges.
He's down in Mexico coaching somebody or other, I believe.
But, no, he's down in Argentina right now. So he left Mexico. Yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't want him in Mexico anymore either.
No.
So, gentlemen, we are here. We're all kit lovers. We're all on Twitter. We share kits daily. We talk kits daily. I think that's something that this game has really given us that we love. And some of your earliest kit memories, what would they be?
I think I wasn't really into football kits when I was younger. I just wore them because it was my team at the time, and I've even got into some absolute classics that I wish I still had now, which seem to be worth a lot of money. But I wasn't a big fan of it. The only strips I ever purchased were the team that I support, and obviously it's Livingston. I used to get the home and away kits all the time, not just to wear. It was literally for because I thought I was a footballer. I thought I was, the Livingston number 10 at some points, or the number 6 or whatever, down the park. But other than Livingston, I didn't have any interest in any other team. Whether that's weird or not, I don't know. But I was just solely focused on one team.
Kieran?
My earliest memory of football kits comes to. So you may have seen a post about this a week or so ago, Sal. It's a special shirt for me, but there's a Queen's Park Rangers shirt which is blue and white hoops. So that's a 20th century design classic in itself. But this particular shirt was sponsored by Guinness. It had a little bit of red trim on it as well, and it's just the perfect football shirt in my eyes. I think as international football came in, there's that spectacle that grabs you of that international riot of colour that comes in the World Cup. And I think I'd be lying if I didn't say that Brazilian strip, the first time you see it, and the way that they played back in the 80s kind of captivated me. So I think they'd be probably my earliest memories. And then as David said, I spent a bit of time trying to play football as well. And I was lucky enough to play in an all sky blue shirt, which I think that's always quite a nice shirt to wear. So I think those would probably be the ones that I think of.
Got it. See, for me, I can remember my dad watching Liga MX, and I have no interest in Liga MX, and still to this day, I have no interest in Liga MX. But it was really that Arsenal kit when the Dreamcast logo was on it.
Oh, nice.
Being a big video game person at the time, it just attracted me, and I said, wow. And I already knew the sport, the Galaxy were here. I just didn't pay them that much attention at that time. And I just said, wow, that's my team. And I had great enjoyment. And then, so we all know what happened with Arsenal in the last couple of years. They've been quite a letdown, but they've been that team that I follow, and shirts just were my passion. I started buying shirts at that moment. And that was 99, 2000, I believe. So I had is the main word, a collection of shirts dating back from that era. And as some people know, an unfortunate incident happened in a few years back where all of them were given away. Not to my knowledge.
I've heard this sad story a couple of times, Sal, but it doesn't make it easier hearing it from you.
No, it doesn't. The shirt I'm wearing is I rebought it because I had lost the original shirt back in the day, and it just. Since I'm a huge Galaxy fan, there was a point in time where I collected player only shirts, the ones that the players wore. So at one point, this shirt actually had 3 stars and an MLS Scudetto on this side, and those are harder to find than these versions of the shirts. So it's one of those kind of.
Oh, I feel your pain.
Yeah, when you said that they were giving away, I don't think you told David the full story there, which I've heard.
No, so David, I was in a relationship, and she wasn't a really big fan of the sport, but she followed it because I was a fan, and she would go along with me to the games. Towards the end of our relationship, I had gone out, and I had come back from work, and every shirt was gone. My closet was clean, and I mean, she just gave them away. He gave everything away. So imagine this: you had shirts from the '98 World Cup all the way up to 2014. You had Premier League shirts from that era coming up. MLS was just the Galaxy for me, but Liga and Serie A, a lot of those Inter Milan shirts, those Milan shirts, so everything was gone.
That's a lot of money to be giving away as well.
Yeah, and it was just because they're adults shouldn't be wearing jerseys.
Or goalkeeper tops.
I mean, it was one of those moments where I just and then the relationship ended not too far into that after that. But
I do not blame you. It should have been instant, to be fair.
I mean, it was hurtful just to see shirt after shirt after shirt after.
Oh,
was that silky smooth Arsenal shirt with Dreamcast across it? Was that one of the ones that you lost that day? So
Everything was lost. Everything. The only thing I had left over was the 2014 Galaxy shirts, the away kit, Beckham's original shirt that he came. So the transfer one, and then just a few little sprinkles here and there. But that was it.
I can feel your pain there, Sal, because a little while ago when we were moving house, I had a big bag full of my old football shirts that go back to probably about the time that I described earlier, 7 or 8 years old. And I misplaced it. I didn't know where it was in the house. I was praying, I was getting down on my knees and trying to ask for this. And my fear was that this had gone to a charity shop in amongst all the baby clothes. And luck would have it, I found it again underneath the stairs, underneath a whole load of coats. There was my bag, a big bag full of football shirts that go back. I'm talking about the 1990 World Cup with that, that England blue shirt that you'll have seen. Lots of stuff. And if I'd lost those, a lot of them are unwearable now because I'm probably about 2 foot taller and at least 3 stone heavier than I was when some of those shirts came out. But I've got to say, if I lost those, it would be, I don't know how I could describe this to somebody that isn't into football, but it would be like losing a photo album of treasured memories and everything that was inside it. And David, as you say, that little bit about the money was flickering around in my mind because I guess that these shirts would have probably cost my parents £25 at the time, but how much are they worth now? Some of those shirts are probably worth 125, 150, maybe £200. And I was thinking that somebody somewhere is just going to be walking into a charity shop and finding this Aladdin's cave, probably for £3-4 a time. It was, Sal, all I can say is I feel your pain, all right? But luckily I found mine.
I mean, yeah, when I heard, I was like, someone's gonna get lucky because there's shirts that are just. Then I look back and I think of everything I had. I'm like, wow, how much money do I have to put back into finding everything? And I've kind of given up on finding some shirts just because the price is astronomical at this point, and some of those Marseille tops are just no. I mean, I haven't even come close to finding any. When it comes to the Galaxy ones, anything after 2007 has just become rare, and the rarest one is are black and gold, which of course now LAFC being here made that shirt even more expensive. And I think the cheapest I found it has been $500, and that's not even for my size.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Let's move on to now happier things at this point. This season, we saw a lot of incredible shirts come out. I think a lot of retro-inspired shirts.
Yeah.
Who has been some of your favorites from this? I'll start with you, Kieran.
There's a few that stand out and spring to mind, and I think the real winners of in the design stakes this year for me have probably been Nike. I always call them Nike. It's something that will stay with me forever. But I think if you think of that AS Roma shirt, the away shirt, that's kind of got that Bowie influence with the zigzag lightning bolt coming through it. I know that's been something that everybody is saying is just a great shirt. I think it will stand the test of time as well. So I think they've really been able to bring forward some of those retro influences and turn them into something quite special, which is modern, it's updated, it's fashionable for today, which means I think it will have quite a timeless quality. But I think a lot of those are quite exciting to me. As I say, on the AS Roma side, I think that they probably had a perfect 2 or 3 kits this year. There was the home shirt, which had another little lightning bolts on the collar, but they also had this the third shirt, which followed that retro vibe of having the Nike Futura logo. So it's the one that has Nike above it that you'd have seen in the 90s. That shirt, the third version of it, in the imprint of the fabric all the way through it, it's just got some classic 90s references going back to the time when Serie A and that kind of football was so popular over here in the UK. And it's just got that old-fashioned Roma badge all the way through, that wolf's head. And it's those little details that I think just make Nike pop this year for me. So I think they'd be probably the ones that stand out on my side. One other that I'd like to talk about, but I'll give David a go.
Oh, cool. I mean, I've been impressed by shirts this year. I think I sort of lost faith when there was a lot of templates coming out and it was a lot of the same, and clubs weren't really doing something a wee bit special, which was quite good to see that a lot of clubs have sort of fallen back and mixed up a wee bit. Like what you say, Kieran, that Roma top, that is definitely in my top 2. Like that was just absolutely stunning. But even as you say, older tops they've done. I mean, even the activity on Twitter, that would just make me buy their top anyway, regardless of how nice it was. It was just incredible. But some of the stuff for me was like the Inter Milan away kit, that mint, that seemed to get popular this year, which I totally loved. Arsenal with the bruised banana sort of remake that came out, and I know it's a wee bit like Marmite, but I still love that. I love the original one. It was one of the first shirts that I owned as a collector, which was amazing. There was even stuff like Corinthians, and I think it's just that sort of pattern that comes along with it. And I think that was like mid-90s. He took inspiration from Barcelona, again another mint shirt that was sort of themed back for the 90s. And some of the shirts that are recent, I know they sometimes throw back to their old stuff, but fans love that. I mean, the football shirt culture is so massive at the moment. Like, that's why we're here talking about it. Like, it's just been so big. But other than that, I mean, my other big one would probably be the Monaco one that they've done, the Monaco home one. Again, it went back to another old top, but it's just incredible. But I like seeing clubs sort of mixing up, letting the manufacturers, like even Hummel, like was it Coventry, like that was a throwback to their old kit as well. But it's just, people are thinking outside the box, and I think that's just like, I mean, I know Sal, you might not know, or even Kieran, but like East Fife, they were doing a fan vote, and it was a Tartan Army thing, a Tartan shirt they were doing, and it doesn't look that great, and you're thinking, well, is it? And the vote went crazy, and it could be a viral top that just went totally nuts. But like they're giving the fans the opportunity to create their strips. I mean, there was even notable shouts to Forest Green with their bamboo shirt and 1874 Norwich. I mean, some really low clubs that are you're just like, who are they? And then they're coming out with these fantastic ideas that are just totally changing it. And I think that fans are grabbing onto that. And I wouldn't even go past saying that they're going to make a fortune out of it.
Yeah. I look at Nike and I have the Roma top, the third top in my closet. I saw it and I just said I had to have it. It just the color. Yeah, that was instant. Inter Milan, like you said, David, their third top, the black with just the yellow Pirelli. That one was just beautiful. Umbro, Kieran, you wrote on your articles just Umbro's revival of these old tops of the whole city, and who else was it? Everton, and just so many great tops. And I'm like, wow, there's not enough money coming in for me to say buy.
Yeah,
but
that whole one is beautiful. That's a classic rework because they've done it in quite a nice understated way. Where you've only got the tiger print coming across the shoulders. The original shirt was like something an old barmaid in the north of England might wear. It was animal print all over the place. It was crazy. But what they've been able to do with this shirt is fantastic. It's just that it's the right shade of amber, I think, as well. And it's a lovely shirt. But David, you stole my thunder. I was going to say about that Forest Green Rovers shirt because I think there's a few things about that shirt that's quite important. It's not just the design, which is that bold green color, and it's kind of got a zebra print across it. But as you say, the real thing in there is that the manufacturers play a layer. We're thinking about sustainability the whole way through. So I know that you've seen some of this with Adidas. They're bringing in Parley, and Parley are reclaiming these bottles apparently from the ocean and then spinning them into polyester, which can be made into a shirt. But this bamboo shirt, with 50% of it made from bamboo, there's a resource that can be grown and it can be going into making a shirt. And I think Hummel have done some things with the amount of water that's used to print a shirt and to go through that dyeing process. So there's been a lot of manufacturers have gone through ways of how can we, in this age where we're being told we need to fly less. Well, guess what? We are flying less at the moment. But where we're all trying to think about the planet, it's good to see manufacturers coming in and doing this as well. And the other one you mentioned, 1874 Norwich, I think that was just a great shirt because it's got a local artist involved in the make of that, and it's a real bespoke look that harks back to the 1990s. And I was in love with it as soon as I saw it. It's a fantastic shirt. And actually, there's so much invention and inspiration that's coming into football culture from probably the lower leagues at the moment, because there's this feeling that the leagues that we all watch that's piped into our homes every day is a little bit manufactured and a little bit samey wherever you look at it now. So where you've got someone like 1874 Norwich bringing something new, working with local artists, you then start to see people like Puma starting to bring more architecture into their designs as well. So they're being inspired in different ways. I think it's absolutely brilliant. But Sal, in the States, the non-league kind of, where you've got lots of teams over there that you could run through. I'm thinking straight away of, is it Oakland Roots? They've done something quite special, albeit it's a templated design that they've got. But the prints that they're putting into that shirt is exceptional.
Yeah. As you say, Kieran, the lower leagues over here, I think, aren't tied down to MLS and the Adidas deal that basically has given us some of the worst templates since 2015. But the lower leagues have this freedom to just create, and Oakland Roots is one of those. I look at the USL teams that are also around. It was Birmingham, Alabama, that has a great shirt. Indy 11. I can go down the list. Providence City, the New York Cosmos. It's just so many great teams who yes, they're taking the templates, but they're having fun with the template and
Yeah.
having a go at it. And it's not hard to keep up, but it's hard as a fan to say, I want to purchase these shirts, but these shirts never go on sale because, of course, lower teams, and they need the money to sustain themselves because they're not getting that revenue share that MLS is bringing in, where we have a 25th anniversary that every shirt almost looks the same. And
Yeah.
disappointing as a fan. And I'll talk about that in that when the 25th anniversary was announced, I believed in my heart of hearts that the legacy teams would have received special shirts. And there's about, I think, 6 teams that are left now from 1996. Those 6 teams would have received the beautiful 25th anniversary shirts. Everyone else would have received basically whatever Adidas could throw at them. I'm not happy with MLS, and now I'm at a state where I kind of wish MLS would just cut the Adidas deal and say every team go out and get your own kit deal like the rest of the world and try to do your own thing.
Completely agree. I mean, it was almost as if that 25th anniversary was a reason for Adidas to celebrate something and just turn up to a party with a gift, which was a picture of themselves. It was kind of strange. It was very weird how they did that. I thought it was disappointing in many ways, really. But actually, the first kind of leaks of those designs, you were thinking, oh God, it's all going to be the same. But when you actually when those shirts were released, I think they did enough in the fabric of the shirts to make them different. So there was some invention there. I think Sporting Kansas City and a few others, they had some quite interesting patterns and color schemes that were brought together there. But I agree with you. I think the 3 stripes over the shoulder, it didn't work for me. I thought it was too much of a look at me and my name's Mr. Adidas and I'm coming to your party to say happy birthday.
I thought it was more harkening back to 1990s Premier League, where you had those teams such as Liverpool with the 3 stripes on the shirts. And it not to complain, but Adidas with the Galaxy, the last time they did a 3rd shirt, and this was 2014, they did almost a throwback to that 1996 shirt. So it was the black shirt with the red and the green. And I thought, okay, Adidas has all of these years that they could work off of. Don't copy Nike's old designs, Reebok's old design from the 96 season, but just inspire them. Give New England a shirt that's inspirational from their first year. New York Red Bulls, yes, they're not Metro Stars anymore, but give them a callback to Metro Stars. At least the fans would have loved that. But
yeah,
it's Adidas being Adidas here in the United States. So, speaking of that, disappointments for this year. Any one maker or any team that stands out basically as a disappointment. I'll go with you, David.
Disappointment for kits.
Yeah, for kits.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I try and stay away from the boring kits and don't really take much interest in them. I don't know what I've been disappointed in, really. I think a lot of the Premier League. I've been disappointed in quite a lot of the clubs that haven't really shown much. But no, I mean, even my own club, Livingston, they've sort of came out with some nice shirts, which is unusual for us, to be honest, because they're never that nice. But I just don't like the templates and clubs using the templates. Like any club that's used a standard template and there's no thought put into it, I mean, that just really winds me up. Or even that clubs that don't change their top, or do change their top, every year, and it's just maybe a small change to the sponsor or just subtle changes that they could do at the same top for another year. But yeah, that the templates and the keeping the tops, for no longer than a year, that probably winds me up the most. But yeah, they're the 2 things that I would say would be a big disappointment. No one individually, but just what they sort of how they wear it really.
And if there was a disappointment for me, I mean, as David says, I don't really want to focus too much on the negative when we've got an amazing array of shirts all around us. But there's probably two. I thought that the Inter Miami was a real opportunity to establish a new look for a club, and I just felt, wow, what a letdown that was. The away shirt, which came out first, which was just black with a couple of pink stripes over one shoulder, was boring, and then the home shirt. I felt that there was an opportunity there to really establish an identity. And it's just pale. It looks washed out, and I think they could have done something that was better. So that's one. And then I think the other one was there was just one shirt that seemed to be just left to the last minute, where they made some changes. And I think if I was a fan of this particular club, then it would really have disappointed me. And that's Sunderland, where Sunderland have had some lovely shirts down the years, red and white stripes. They were the first team in the UK to wear a Nike kit back in the 80s. So there's some good culture around it. And I think at the very last minute of the kit design process, when they'd all been processed and they were out into the club shop, they decided they were going to put a charity sponsor across the shirt. So it's effectively just a sticker that's been placed over the old betting sponsor. So there's progress that you're not having that betting sponsor anymore. And it says, this is to help children that have got cancer. It's a great thing that they've done, but it's just disappointing the way that we can all see that it's just a sticker over another label. And I think that was one that just, for me, if I was being asked to pay £55, I'd have probably kept the money in my pocket.
I'll talk that Miami shirt. I've seen it in person, and I've seen the players issued one in person, and I love the subtle designs of the herring bird that go down the shirt.
Yeah.
But when you look at the replica, the $89 version, they're they disappear. They're not there, and it's the biggest disappointment for that team when there's the city of Miami could have done so much, and it's.
And the other one, if we're staying on MLS for just a second, is that Chicago Fire came out with this new badge, didn't they? Which in itself, I think, was a disaster, because you had something that was like a real symbol of Chicago. For me, it was that old, cross which represented the fire department and everything like that. But this new one, it really made me scratch my head about what they were trying to achieve with that new crest. And when they came out to bring these new shirts together, those shirts, they just were that absolute template nonsense that we all hate. And I know that they were. It didn't reflect the colours of the badge, didn't reflect anything. It was just a missed opportunity again.
Yeah. And then I'll add to that also the team that also came in, Nashville, just a plain yellow top for their home. And it's just really not inspiring. And having fans pay $89 for a plain yellow shirt with a sponsor in the front is kind of disappointment at this point in time. So we'll see what comes next year, since it seems like we won't play sports until next year, considering how things are going in the world. But talking about next year, and we have seen at least some rumors popping down already of shirts that are to come and whatnot. Any that you've seen, Kieran, that stands out?
So there's I think it was getting to that exciting stage where we were starting to see the shirts for Euro 2020. Adidas went very early, so that we've already seen all the shirts for Germany and Spain, and they've got quite an artistic tint to them with big broad brush strokes that seem to be painted across the shirts. So they're quite interesting. They don't all work. I think the Spain one looks like it's a kind of a postal sack which has been sewn together. But when we actually see it on the pitch, and that could be a year from now, maybe those memories of those shirts will be something that captivates us, and we can say that I love that shirt because in that moment there was a guy that did this, and he hit a ball from 30 yards into a top corner, and that's what we remember about it. But Nike were again just on fire with some of the leaked images of the shirts. The England shirt, the home shirt, looked quite plain and just what you get from an England shirt. Central badge with a few zigzags down the side, but other than that, there was a really brave interpretation of what an away shirt for England should be. It was blue. It had kind of crazy print all over it. I'm excited to see what that one is. But the one that stands out for me, and we haven't seen it confirmed yet, is one of those ones that just seems like, is it too good to be true? Is what Nike are doing with the French kit for this year. So they're keeping that darker blue. I prefer the royal blue myself, but they've kind of done that Nike fit, but with those hoops that you'd have seen from the days of Zidane and before that Platini in '84. So it's a modern interpretation. All three of us seem like we love those, but of with that Nike cut that you're getting. And the other one, I mean, look, everybody else in the world has said it, so why don't I? There's two that came out earlier on in the year, international shirts. Nigeria, where it was a great follow-up to that shirt that broke the internet. But the South Korean away shirt, which is kind of like a zebra pattern, if that ever sees the light of day, it's going to be a shirt we all remember.
That South Korean shirt has seen the light of day here in the United States. I've already seen some people that have the shirt just here, and there's one seller that was selling them, and I kid you not, for $60, and it brought me this close to saying I want it, but I kind of want the Nigerian one more than I want that one. David, anything that stands out for you?
To be honest with you, I've not seen many leaked shirts about. I mean, there's so many, I don't want to say fakes, but things that don't come to fruition, or I'm either in the present, totally living in the present or the past. I never really looked to the future, to be honest. So it was interesting to hear Kieran talking about what's coming, because it's all news to me. So the only thing I have seen, there's been a couple of teams that have released their shirts for next year up here. I think Air United and I don't know if Kilmarnock, or if it was a concept or a leak or whatever it was, but I've not seen many leaks at all, so I can't really comment on what's to come. But as long as it's not plain, as long as it's not boring, as long as it's not a template.
I wanted to ask you, Kieran, the Manchester United leak. I think we've both seen it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you think of what I like to call the bus seat cover?
It's funny, isn't it? Those bus seats. Phil Delves, who's on Twitter, and he's built a great following there. He was talking about these bus seats earlier on in the year, and I think they work. The part about the Manchester United shirt that doesn't work for me is the emblazonment of that huge sponsor. Just where you've got Chevrolet over there, it ruins every shirt that Manchester United have had since they've taken on that contract. So I feel that if you put the word sharp across the middle of that shirt, it would be a good shirt. But I think the part that ruins this for me is just having this horrible big gold label across the middle of it, which doesn't go with any of the color schemes that. And the third shirt is really weird. Have you seen that one, Alex?
No, I haven't seen that one yet.
So it's kind of like this. I don't know how to describe it, but it's like a kind of black and white. It's just as if it's been painted on the side of a boat to make it, just so crazy that you'd miss it if you were trying to fire a missile at it. It's just a crazy print, and it's brave, and Adidas and Manchester United have done this before in the 80s and 90s. They had some pretty mad shirts, but look, I think it's just that sponsor. It doesn't work for United for me. If you've got Vodafone or you've got Sharp, it works, but this doesn't work.
Now that sponsor, is it because of Chinese money, that investment in the club, or just it was just, hey, let's just take Chevrolet's money? And I don't know how popular Chevy is in England, but I've
seen many on the road.
It never makes sense to me they have that. Sponsors can make or break shirts, in my opinion, as well, and that's just that's just, it's ruined so many great shirts that they've had, especially the pink one that I'm a fan of from last season. It just didn't work.
I think even like on the topic of sponsors, I think like a lot of brands want to keep their brand identity on the shirt. So like whether it's multicolored or as it's the like clubs don't have their brand out there to go with the shirt. They go with how it stands out or what's their primary brand in. It's like, for instance, even this Livingston top, Motorola are not red, but they've done it to fit in with the shirt in it.
Yeah.
And I mean, this is one of my favourite shirts. It's just like, this is incredible. But a lot of, I mean, this should honestly be black, but it's not because it doesn't fit with the shirt. Whereas now a lot of clubs want to stand out they want to promote it, and it's not about how nice it looks. I mean, let's be honest, it is about the money, and people want to make sure their brands notice, not how nice a shirt is, which is obviously, well, I agree, it's very disappointing as a shirt collector.
And there's rumours that Serie A in Italy, because I'm never sure if I pronounced that correctly or not, but they are due to be bringing in, if rumour has it and it's right, that they're bringing in a law which will say that shirts should only have sponsors that are friendly to the design of the shirt. So for Napoli, for example, you've got a beautiful sky blue shirt. It's got some great pattern on it, but it's kind of ruined by having this big red box across the middle of it. And what they're saying is that you should take away the big red box and just have the sponsor in white. I think that would improve things. It would improve the look of the league itself. So as David says, when a sponsor fits into the shirt, it makes it. And I actually think that if you've got a local sponsor, it also sings. So if you've got for somebody who's local to that city, a big employer, then it means more that you've got local backing on that shirt.
Yeah, I look at Liga MX with sponsors. Their shirts seem to be the NASCAR of the football world for some reason. But the sponsors oftentimes they blend the color into the shirt. So we've seen the America top, the third one, that minty color one, where everything just works. But then I've seen other clubs, and I'm talking Leon, Juarez, just multiple clubs, Tigres, that the sponsors just fit into the shirts. So it just doesn't, in my eyes, I don't see, okay, it's too many sponsors. I don't want that on my shirt, but it fits the shirts. But it's still, to me, just too many sponsors. And then I look at the socks are sponsored, the shorts are sponsored, and then the training shorts underneath the shorts are sponsored as well. So Mexico, what can I say? But
See, even on that note, I mean, for me, I mean, I'm a big fan of ice hockey, and they've, apart from the NHL who don't have sponsors, but every other team across Europe they do. I love loads of sponsors on a shirt. I absolutely love it, and as long as the logos and the sponsors are fit with the shirt and things, people think it's too busy. I actually quite like them, whether they're on the sleeves, on the shoulders, on the back. I'm for it. I'm for it.
See, with the Galaxy shirts, everyone always hates on the whole Herbalife sponsor, and it's a sham company. And yeah, it is a sham company, but it fits. It fits the shirts. They fit the shirt, and it's been iconic to the shirts. Where I see people say, "We want Tesla" written on the shirt, or SpaceX, or last year some fans had Ferrari on the shirt after the famous Zlatan quote, "He's a Ferrari among Fiats in this league," but the sponsors, they fit sometimes, even if we don't like the sponsors. I think the only ones I really don't enjoy are the Chinese betting companies, and that's just my preference. I just think they've ruined the game in some fashion or another. But sometimes they work on the shirt, and well.
That seems to be what's working in these lower league American shirts as well. You mentioned Providence earlier, where they've got that beer sponsor. I don't know what it is about alcohol sponsors that sings to fans, and we like that. But just having sponsors that are quite local, if it's a craft brewery or someone like that, it's good to see local companies supporting the local club.
Yeah, Newcastle is the biggest example I can remember. Those shirts from Adidas, they were just some of my favorite shirts, and I got to see Alan Shearer probably towards the end of his career play, but man, were those iconic stripes with Newcastle right in the front of it.
I know.
Oof, man, but we are at 45-minute mark, gentlemen, and it's time to say goodbye. I do want to thank you both for joining us. Go ahead and promote your Twitter sites, gentlemen. David, we'll start with you.
No, thanks for having us on, Sal. It's been an absolute pleasure. Yeah, I'm David from After Extra Time Shirts, where you can find us at AET Shirts. We sell football shirts from old to new. We do surprise boxes as well. If you want to chat about football, we're always on. Nothing else to do in this era, so come join us for a bit of fun.
And thanks for having me too, Sal. It's Kieran here from Sartorial Soccer. So you can find us. The best place to find us is www.sartorialsoccer.com. Well, actually, no, it's not. It's sartorial.soccer. I'm making the same mistake. Just Google us. And look, you'll find us. Sal will post some links, I'm sure. But as I say, it's been a great experience to speak to somebody on the other side of the Atlantic from me who knows and understands football and knows and understands soccer shirts as much as you do, Sal. And you've been a great help to me over the last couple of years as well. Somebody who's always been there to talk about football shirts. And David, I think my missus is starting to think that there might be something going on, that I'm peeling myself away each evening to talk to you about football shirts. So
She's safe.
I know she's safe. But I think in some ways she might be more happy if I was conducting some transatlantic affair in some way, but it's not happening. Sal, the three of us are going to speak again tomorrow, but again, it's a great pleasure to speak to the two of you.
Oh yeah, thank you both of you for joining me. I think this is one topic that I've been wanting to discuss on the show for the past 39 episodes.
Yes.
we really don't get into shirts that often. It's always Premier League or MLS for us, and some Serie A and a little bit of the A-League. And I'll say hello to my friends down in Australia who beautiful shirts down there as well. I mean, I can't get enough of the shirts down there.
The real one's the Western United one.
The Kappa away for Western United. It's white with all of these. What did you say? Blocks, right, Kieran? Or
it's madness. It's kind of geometric patterns all over the place. It's just Kappa going mad. Yeah. It wouldn't fit my frame. Let's put it that way. It's going to be too tight. It's going to be. But yeah, it's an amazing shirt.
That's the pleasure that I have. That I've looked the same. I've weighed the same since I was in high school. So everything fits me the same way it did. So I have no problem still with a lot of Puma designs that are tight fitting, Kappa designs that are tight fitting. It's all right for me here. So I just love it. But thank you, gentlemen, so much. I mean, you've made my day. It was incredible.
As long as we could.
Episode 40 for us, a milestone for us here at FieldTalk. I do want to say follow us at FieldTalk. We're always here. We can always get a chat. If you need a chat, I'm always on Twitter, especially during these times of quarantine. So you can find me. My Twitter handle's here, down here somewhere. Yeah, right there. Find me. You can see me. I might have a few words for City fans and Liverpool fans, but that's just me. If you're an LAFC fan, yeah, you can go somewhere. I don't care where you go. But yeah. So, anyways,
you're say that in the safety of your own home, though, aren't you? You're not going anywhere, so nobody's gonna find you.
Well, I will say this: at my employer, which I'm not employed right now, but at my employer previously, where I coached, many of the families were LAFC families. So it was amazing just to walk into the pitch wearing a Galaxy shirt or a jacket and just having these families look at me. And then when their children are wearing a Galaxy shirt instead of an LAFC shirt, it gives me all that much pleasure in the world because now they're enjoying the real team of Los Angeles. Yes. But thank you so much, gentlemen. It's been a pleasure. As always, you can find us on FieldTalk. You can find David at AET Shirts. You can find Kieran at Soccer Tutorial. Am I right?
Yep.
There we go. As always, thank you so much. Bye, gentlemen.
All right.
Thank
See you
you.
later, guys.